Hey, I'm James Squatch Jr., and today we're going to do a athletic style portrait. If you've seen some of the other videos, you might notice that I like to use a lot of lights a lot of the time. But today we're going to do something really simple, and we're going to start with a 2-light base setup with my man Mims back here doing an athletic portrait. And then once we get our foundation set there, then we're going to build up to using just 2 more lights inside the Pro Light mods to really take our image to that next level. All of it's going to be done right in camera. So for this setup, our first light, our main light, our key light, is going to be the Joel Grimes Beauty Dish, the silver version, because in this style of athletic portraiture, I like to have a little extra punch on my subject back here. And that silver kind of gives it that extra little dimension with the light. Second light is going to be just using the reflector on the FJ200 to give a nice little kind of edge or rim light on our subject that's going to be countered by this light here. So we're kind of working a light source on this side and then one on the other side. And then when we bring in the Pro Light mods, they're going to be roughly 6 feet behind our model here, and they're going to be what kind of bring that extra punch and raise the level of this image to where we want to take it, just using 4 lights today. And in reference to the 3x3 Pro Light mods today, we're using the 3x3 Rapid Box Switches to go along with them. Before we even get started with the Pro Light mods in the back here, I've got a kind of a foundational exposure that I want to get set with my subject, and I'd want to build a strong foundation before I add anything else into the image to kind of bring it up to that next level. It's important to start at the ground level and work your way up, in my opinion. All right, so once we have our base exposure for our subject in the image here, then we turned on the mods and brought them in to elevate the image that we're making here. And you can see in this first image where we had the smoke, the proper exposure on the mods, and how this all kind of works together in a really neat, impactful, cohesive, dramatic photo. And I wanted to show some examples of underexposing the mods. And a big telltale sign of that is when you can see the diffusion material within the circles there. You do not want to see the diffusion material. If you do see that, you definitely want to up the power on those modifiers. And then, as you can always underexpose something by mistake, you can also overexpose something. So we want to kind of keep everything in that sweet spot. And here's an image where we crank the power all the way up to 9 on the FJ400s back there, and you can see it just blowing out everything. You can see the modifiers there, and it's just a lot going on, and you can tell that the overall image needs to come down probably 2-3 stops overall. So that's something that you want to avoid as well. And also, you're really working your lights at a high level when you're trying to crank all that power through them. So don't do that. Keep it well within the range based off of your base exposure that we have developed at the beginning of this photo shoot. All right, so for this second setup, we expanded our lighting platform here slightly. We added 2 more mod lights, and those are in the 1x4 Rapid Box Switches, along with the mods to go along with those. And then we added another FJ200 for another edge light over here to kind of match the one that we had over here previously, and use the same exact power in that one. So we used our base exposure to let us know where that one needs to be. And then finally, we added a silver 7-foot umbrella behind me as a fill, since we were shooting a little bit wider with this setup. And one bonus tip for photo shoots like this, when you've got a scrawny model out here on set and you need a little enhancement for the muscles. These spray bottles do a great job of reflecting light and kind of showing all the different contours of the different muscles on your subject. So this is always a good thing to have on set. And I myself prefer to just use water and not go the glycerin route and that type of thing. So when my guy back here is done with the photo shoot, he's not gonna have to go shower somewhere to wash off all that stuff. So it's just water. It evaporates at the end of the day and gives him a couple free workouts. Okay, and another tip that I found while using the ProLight mod, since they are resembling light fixtures like stadium lights, is to have a darker backdrop to help them stand out from what is behind them. So here we're working on a white cyc wall, and so we hung some black material behind those to help bring them forward. You can use this solution as an example, or if you're in a larger space like a gymnasium or an indoor field or something like that, you can simply turn your setup toward the deeper end of that structure and let fall off do its thing there, and then you won't really necessarily need a dark backdrop like we have here. And in incorporating the mods in a setup just like this here, I'm really not all that concerned about whether or not I keep the full mod in the frame. You can also move around and it'll move the mod within the frame, and you can make your own decisions whether or not you want to keep that full mod in there, or you kind of crop it in camera, or you can even crop it in post. But I wouldn't be too concerned about keeping the whole mod in the frame for every one of your images. All right, if you got a spare minute, let us know which photos you like the most out of this photo shoot we just did today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.